Welcome back to the coin world. Old coin review and value, the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries, numismatic treasures, and the hidden value in your pocket change. Today, we delve deep into the story behind one of America's iconic yet underrated coins, the 1959 Liberty 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the 1959 Jefferson nickel. While it may seem ordinary at first glance, this coin carries a rich legacy and collector interest that makes it a true hidden gem in numismatics. Before we explore the specific details of the 1959 issue, we must first understand the origins of the Jefferson nickel series. It all began in 1938, when the U.S. Mint decided to replace the Buffalo nickel design with one that honored Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. The design competition held in 1938 was won by sculptor Felix Schlag, whose artistic representation of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, became the defining features of the coin for decades to come. The Jefferson nickel series ran from 1938 to 2003, before the reverse was redesigned as part of the Westward Journey series in 2004 and 2005. In 2006, the series returned to a new forward-facing portrait of Jefferson. The year 1959 sits squarely in the middle of this classic design period. At the time, the coin was produced in massive quantities, and like most coins in circulation, it was used daily by Americans during a period of economic growth and cultural change. Now let's examine the obverse design. The 1959 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. The words "In God We Trust" appear along the left rim, while Liberty and the date 1959 appear on the right. The reverse features an image of Monticello, Jefferson's neoclassical estate in Charlottesville, Virginia. Above the building, you'll see Pluribus Unum, and below, the inscriptions Monticello 5 cents and United States of America. By 1959, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for over 20 years. Despite the simple composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, these coins were made to last, both in physical durability and in symbolic representation of American heritage. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 27.9 million nickels. In 1959, the Denver Mint, which includes a small D mint mark to the right of Monticello, produced 160 million coins, far more than Philadelphia. Because of this, 1,959 D nickels are common in circulation and usually have low numismatic value in circulated condition. However, 1959 nickels from the Philadelphia Mint, especially in pristine uncirculated condition or with full steps, can be quite desirable. Let's talk about full steps nickels. A Jefferson nickel with full steps refers to the clearly visible horizontal steps on the Monticello design. This is a sign of a well-struck coin and significantly increases collector value. The sharpness and clarity of these steps are hard to find on many Jefferson nickels, including the 1959 issue, due to worn dies or weak strikes at the mint. That's why full steps coins are rare and command a premium. High-grade 1959 Jefferson nickels with full steps. To fully appreciate the 1959 Jefferson nickel, we must consider what America looked like in the late 1950s. The country was in the midst of the Cold War, and 1959 marked a period of tense diplomacy between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. That same year, Vice President Richard Nixon visited Moscow to engage in the famous kitchen debate with Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev, a moment that symbolized the ideological struggle between capitalism and communism. This was the political climate in which the 1959 nickel circulated. On the cultural front, 1959 was the year when Alaska and Hawaii officially became the 49th and 50th states, respectively. This was a historic expansion of the Union, making coins from this year emblematic of a changing American identity. In music and pop culture, Elvis Presley was at the peak of his fame, and the tragic plane crash that killed Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper happened in 1959, known forever as the day the music died. This momentous year also saw the introduction of the Barbie doll, the debut of the first U.S. weather satellite, and the opening of the Guggenheim Museum in New York City. All of these cultural shifts shaped the environment in which 1959 coins were minted and circulated. Meanwhile, in the world of coinage, the U.S. Mint was running at full capacity to keep up with the booming post-war economy. The Denver Mint, in particular, was focused on producing coins for circulation in the expanding western United States. The Philadelphia Mint, as the oldest and largest facility, handled coinage for the eastern seaboard. Interestingly, no mint mark was used for Philadelphia coins at the time, which is why the 1959 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel appears without one. Coin collecting in the 1950s was also on the rise. The post-war generation had more disposable income and time for hobbies. Coin clubs flourished, and more Americans began using coin folders and albums to build complete sets. For many collectors, building a full Jefferson nickel set from 1938 onward became an affordable and educational hobby, helping to elevate the importance of even low-denomination coins like the 1959 nickel. The U.S. Mint, at this time, was still using traditional engraving and hand-punched dies, which led to subtle variations in strike quality. These small differences are now critical to collectors, especially those seeking sharp, well-defined full steps on Monticello. One notable element of Felix Schlag's original Monticello design was that it had been modified by the Mint before approval. His original depiction of Monticello was more stylized and artistic, but the Mint insisted on a more realistic architectural rendering. Schlag didn't receive full credit for the design until his initials, FS, were added to the obverse in 1966, 7 years after the 1959 nickel was struck. That means the 1959 coin does not bear the designer's initials. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the Coins World.